All right, it's 6 o'clock. We're going to start the meeting. If I can have everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any changes to the agenda?
We have two, Mayor. We have, one, we have a special meeting running concurrent with two items on it. So we'll add those to the discussion items and we'll just run those through as I think it'll be 6.7 and 6.8. And then we also have one item in closed session that needs to be discussed prior to the meeting or prior at the beginning of the meeting. So we'll request that we go into closed session for item number 9.2 prior to awards and presentations, once the council's approved the agenda.
Okay. Any other changes? None? Okay, can we get approval for the agenda?
I'd like to get an approval for the agenda with the changes. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? And the agenda with the changes passes, and I apologize, but we are going to move into closed session. It shouldn't take us very long. Do you expect to be reporting anything out?
No report out, but probably about 10, 15 minutes.
10 or 15 minutes, so if you guys want to take a short break or whatnot, we'll be back. Thank you.
Good.
And then 11 or 12 in the closed session for the special meeting, right?
All right, we're going to bring this open session back to order. And we are going to move number 6.5 to the consent calendar, and that'll be at 5.11. Do we need a,
To approve the, you can ask if you want to approve.
can I get a motion to approve the changes to the agenda?
I'll motion to approve with the changes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. All those opposed? Seeing none, the changes to the agenda is passed. We are going to move to item number 2, awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations, where we have none. We're going to move to item number 3, which is citizens' comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item within the jurisdiction of the council. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern, identify themselves, and use the microphone. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the city council this evening, and all items will be referred to staff for follow-up and a report. Citizens' comments submitted in writing to the city clerk by 5 p.m. on the day of the city council meeting shall be distributed to the city council and included in the record. However, they will not be read. And I just want to also remind people, if you do want to talk on a discussion item, that we have cards over there that you can fill out for the discussion items as well. This is public comment, and anyone can speak on anything in our jurisdiction. Do we have any public comments? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Scott Netherton, Kalinga Chamber of Commerce. Just as most of you know, we're coming up on 2 weeks ago, we had our Community Service Awards dinner. Definitely a learning experience. Big change when you're not relying on Harris Ranch and their expertise for putting everything together for you, but it was very well attended. We ended up with 288 in attendance and about 14 staff members that were there. This is by far one of my favorite events, as we get to recognize a lot of the local individuals and businesses and community members that do so much for the community. And I appreciate all of you that were able to attend. And it isn't just the awards part of it. So many people make it possible. All the businesses and individuals that decorated tables, people that donated raffle baskets, auction items, even as far as having the CHS culinary department do our charcuterie board and do all the food service. I mean, it was absolutely a community effort. I just want to make sure to tell them publicly how much we appreciate all of them. The college hosted it for us. First time they've had something that large. The Kalinga College Cafe actually did all the cooking. The largest event I think they've done is like 105 people. So this is triple anything they've ever done. And I think all in all, they did a great job. Definitely things we need to improve on, and we will. But again, I just want to thank you all for participating and joining us. A week from Saturday is our Mardi Gras event down here in the Kalinga Plaza. Finally got our insurance paperwork in, so I'll have all that in on Monday. We're probably looking at about 60 vendors, some live entertainment, kids fun zone and what have you. So if you're free, it goes from 11 to 7, 11 a.m., 7 p.m. And a lot of fun for everybody, cornhole and what have you for the family. So if you're available, please come on out. Derby's on its way. You'll be getting a lot of updates on that here soon, some changes and additions that we're doing that are going to make it new and exciting. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none. right. We're going to move on to public hearings, which we have none. And then we're going to move to the consent calendar, which we have added an item, which is 511, which would be the public information consultant for citywide information. We have 11 items. Is there anything anyone on council would like to pull? So I would just like a few just for information, 5.6 and 5.10.
There's a, we need to run that item as well. So there's an item on the consent agenda as well that has to do with the minutes from the special meeting at the previous meeting. So we'll
Okay.
include that on the
So
consent
that'll be
calendar as well.
5.12 then. And we're going to go on 5.5 first.
Just informational.
So this application, the authorization for this resolution is authorizing staff to move forward with a application to the federal program Home. And basically, this will be an application with, in concert with the developer for the senior housing project that was previously approved by the Planning Commission earlier, actually later last year, for 31 affordable senior units at Walnut and Elm. And so we went through the similar process with the project on Polk Street, same developer. And so essentially we apply for the funds. It's about $8.3 million the city's applying for. The developer ends up being the beneficiary of these of the project funds to build the project. Once hopefully if we're awarded the funds, then the developer proceeds forward with state tax credits. And then if they receive state tax credits, then the project is really kind of a go. So moving forward with this doesn't guarantee the development of the project. This is the first step in applying for funding. The developer feels that this project's very competitive right now. We didn't apply last year because they changed the rules a lot annually. And right now they feel like this project's very competitive. The market need is significant in our town for senior housing. And so included in this is also the participation that the city is committed for quite a few years is some funding from the prior redevelopment agency, which we know how long ago that was. We have previous unused housing funds that we have earmarked with and kind of refreshed over the years a commitment to this project. These types of projects are very competitive, but because they're the affordable nature of the projects, they require a lot of public funds in order to make these pencil out. These aren't private market rate apartments, so they do take a lot of public equity in order to actually build these things. And so this is just authorizing staff to move forward with the application. There's no cost to us. The developer actually prepares all the documents and we review them, and then we proceed forward with submission. And this is in the form of a loan too. So actually we receive, over time, actually receive the money back.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Then it goes right back into our housing fund.
okay. And timeline, we don't know, like a timeline or?
We'll probably find out sometime this summer. If we apply, it'll probably be summer. Sometimes it takes longer. Once we are aware, if we're awarded, then we would be the developer would move forward with the tax credit application. And if they're awarded, then maybe by fall, we should have a pretty good indication if this project's moving forward or not.
Is there a point where if it falls through, the property, what do we do with the property, or there's different?
The developer actually purchased the property.
Oh, the developer?
Yeah,
Oh,
this was for a while, the city actually owned it. And we were in partnership with the developer to apply, and then they were gonna buy it once they were awarded funds. However, they're fully committed to building here. And so I think it was about 3 years ago, they actually pulled the trigger and actually purchased the property from the city.
All right, so we're going to move on to, anyone have any more questions on 5.5? Seeing none? Okay, we're going to move on to 5.6, authorized purchase and installation of new audiovisual equipment and software. Basically, just a summary of what we're getting.
Is Robert okay talking on this? I know Robert had been working with the company that kind of provided us the quote for all the improvements.
Good evening. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
So I'm just wondering, what all are we getting with this? Are we getting new cameras, or
So we will be getting two new point and zoom cameras that I can work in the booth with. It'll come with all new software and new mixers and the splitter in the inside there. It'll come with a 10-inch touchpad that I can control the projectors, all the mics, everything with. And then full installation and the education and instruction on to use it.
So will this move you away from the OBS studio and into a proprietary software then?
No, it'll still be OBS. It'll just be a newer software and newer controls and everything for it.
Okay, so it does move with the OBS?
Yes.
And will it be compatible with our new agenda stuff? Will it run with that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
All right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Robert.
Any other questions on 5.6? All right. And then 5.10, authorize city manager to abate the fire damage residents at 325 East Houston. If I can just get a summary on this.
Be happy to do that, Mayor. So the house at 325 East Houston caught fire in 2022. We've been working, the fire marshal worked to abate the property through the legal process, and that process has completed. So we have full authorization legally to abate the house. We found that the bids to do so was prohibitively high, and so we came up with the idea to have city staff do it on basically on the off days with volunteer work, so that we're not falling behind on regular work. And we found that we could probably do it significantly cheaper for the $10,000 to $12,000.
And is city staff excited to be able to do this? I'm just curious.
I just raised it to them today, so they were excited isn't a word I would use.
All right.
But it will be volunteer. We won't force anybody into working their weekends. So, but I do anticipate getting enough people to do it. So.
Okay.
And then we'll get paid accordingly for the additional time, but even with the overtime, it's going to be cheaper than having to pay a contractor or somebody else to do it, so. And
then the process for this would be that then we would send the owner the bill for this?
We would actually end up leaning the property to regain that,
Yeah.
to regain those costs. We would, and through the auction process, when the sale of the house, the city would recoup their funds.
But we would send a bill first to the property owner to pay the cost to demolish it. If they don't, then we lien the property and then any other fees that are assessed to the property as well.
Okay.
Right, but I should mention that we've had trouble locating the property owner, so. I'm sorry? Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
okay. All right. Any other questions on 5.10 from council?
I was under the impression that in order to clean these properties, it was hazmat. It was considered hazmat, and that's why it's so expensive. Is that true?
that's not my understanding. I mean, burned down residences typically get abated normally. I mean, there's possibly some asbestos, and we will do an asbestos survey prior to entering the house, but I mean, it's just burned, charred wood. I mean,
Yeah.
we will have all the PPE necessary, and we will do an asbestos survey before we go in there. So.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Can I entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar 5.1 through 5.12, including the special meeting minutes?
I'll move to improve the consent calendar with the changes and additions.
I'll second that.
It's been moved. Those in second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Consent calendar 5.1 through 5.12, including the additions, passes. We're going to move on to item number 6, ordinance presentation, discussion, and potential action items, which I will give the public a little bit more time if you need it to fill out a comment card on these items here. And so we're going to start with number 6.1, council review, discussion, and potential action related to the state of Coalinga's retail cannabis sales tax rates.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we're just asking that you receive the report from our consultant. This was stemming from the previous presentation we had from SCI Consulting, who's helping us with updating our cannabis regulations. And from that conversation, there were some discussions related to our tax rates as well for retail. And so in talking with SCI, they've provided, and they did a little bit of research from neighboring cities within the valley, looking at comparisons in terms of tax rates. Our current tax rate is 10%, which places us actually at the top of any kind of peer range and ties it for the highest rate among cities that we looked at. Approximately 1/3 of the surveyed cities impose a 10% rate, while the majority of jurisdictions have adopted lower rates. They found that the median cannabis rate among the groups were about 7.5%, with the average of about 7.15. Several nearby compatible jurisdictions impose lower rates, including Fresno at 4, Hanford at 6, Lemoore at 5, and Madera's at 2. So while our geographic location may reduce the likelihood of frequent cross-jurisdiction purchasing, higher local rates can still affect retail pricing, their margins, and long-term market sustainability. The consultants noted that lower tax rates may reduce revenue per dollar of sales, but can improve competitiveness, compliance, and overall market participation. In other cases, increased sales could result in a cost decrease for the customers. And so tonight, we're just looking for direction from the council on how you would like to proceed. We don't have a formal recommendation, but in looking at the competitive nature of our tax rates, the council may want to consider looking at maybe lowering the rate to a more competitive rate to our neighboring jurisdictions. So Mayor,
Council?
Are these the ones in place right now, or this is the one coming in?
these are all existing tax rates in certain jurisdictions. And I think, and all of them have cannabis, retail cannabis in their cities. Obviously, they have it in their ordinance of the percentage rate, but all of them do currently have operators in those jurisdictions paying those rates.
And it's 10% right now? You said?
And ours is 10%, yeah.
So, for me, just looking at this as a business, as like any other business in Coalinga, I'd want them to be successful. I think that if we're taxing any of our businesses higher than other places, it's probably not a good thing and not healthy for our city. So, just going off of that alone, I think that there's room for us to lower this rate.
So I can tell you that I've reached out to the dispensary that we have in town, and I know people that utilize out of town, and then I know also people who are so angry with the tax rate that they're just buying it off the street. So I personally think that we're losing money because people do travel to Hanford and Fresno and Lemoore quite frequently, and if they don't have to pay that rate, then I think they won't. I think they will choose to go somewhere else. And this is actually a tax that's on our residents. Now, that being said, I would say, hey, we need to look at what our neighbors are doing. I'd say Lemoore is probably the place, Lemoore and Hanford are the place that people are probably going to the most. When I asked the dispensary if this is going to impact them if we made a change, they said what it would do would keep more people local. So to them, it's a pass-through. They don't recoup this money. This money comes right back to the city. So they said, in their opinion, from talking to some of their employees, that this could actually increase because more people may choose to shop local, and that would be money in our pocket that we're not getting. And it may take some of the people off the street that are buying it and put it into there. There's no guarantees that any of that will happen, though. But this is just what I've heard. And I have talked to residents that say our tax rate is really high. And this, we were early adopters, though. We did this before anybody else did, so I'm not blaming, us for doing this, but I do think that every now and then we should look at our rates and make sure we're comparable and compatible and with our neighbors around us. And, it is really a tax on our residents, so I'd like to see it somewhere around, myself, I would choose the 5% rate, that way that we're compatible with Lemoore. I think that 2% in Madera is, people aren't gonna drive to Madera, but I do think the 5% rate would be something, 5 or 6, that we could talk about. That way we could keep it, comparable to our neighbors. But I'll open it up for the rest of the council and what other people think.
Yeah, and these, they seem, on my information, they've kept up with their diligence with paying their taxes. So I think in working with them and keeping them here wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm thinking, same like you, at 6% or something like that would be very workable.
So I'd like to make a motion that we, or the direction that we come back and change it to 5. That's what I'd like to do, because I'd like us to be compatible, not compatible, what's the word? Competitive, my bad. Competitive with other jurisdictions. And I think that, that it would help out our residents a little bit. Maybe it could increase some sales.
That's reasonable.
You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys have direction? You'll bring something back?
Yep. It takes an ordinance revision, so we'll just bring back an ordinance
Okay.
to the council with 5%.
Okay. All right. Shannon, do we have any comment cards?
We do not.
Okay. So we're going to move on to item number 6.2, City Council discussion and potential direction to initiate a cannabis ordinance amendment to provide flexibility and reduced permit fees for seasonal cultivation employees. John?
Thank you. So tonight, staff is requesting direction from the council to prepare and process an amendment to the city's commercial cannabis ordinance. One, to allow a streamlined employee permitting process for seasonal cultivation employees, including the use of live scan fingerprinting in lieu of a full city-conducted background investigation, with the employer responsible for conducting and certifying its own background. And then reduce the employee permit fee for seasonal cultivation employees so that the fee reflects only the actual live scan fingerprinting and city administrative issuance costs rather than full employee permit currently required. As people know, the city regulates commercial cannabis operations through our current Title IX of our Kaliningrad Municipal Code, and currently requires that all employees working in commercial cannabis operations obtain an individual employee permit issued by the city, which includes a full background investigation conducted through the police department. This process was intentionally designed to provide strong public safety oversight during the initial implementation of the city's cannabis program. However, as the industry's matured, licensed cannabis cultivators have identified operational challenges associated with the current employee permit requirements, particularly for seasonal or temporary cultivation employees who may only be employed for short, defined periods of time for planting, harvesting, and then processing cycles. And so some of the challenges is that each seasonal employee must complete in the same full employee permit process as a permanent staff does. The process includes a comprehensive background review conducted by the city regardless of employment duration, and employees and city staff incur administrative costs and processing delays that may be disproportionate to the temporary nature of the employment. So what we're trying to look at is we're trying to look to amend the ordinance specifically for seasonal cultivation employees, which it could go as far as all permanent employees, employers to conduct their own background screening consistent with state law and city standards and certified compliance with the city. The cities retain oversight authority, including the ability to deny or revoke eligibility if disqualifying information is identified. So we still have the same authority we would still have the same authority to deny an employee permit. And this approach maintains public safety safeguards while recognizing the operational realities of seasonal employment. And so what we would do is make those changes. We can work with our consultants who are currently working on the regulations to make these adjustments to make it a little more flexible. This allows for employees to be hired quicker. We do have flexibility currently in the code that allows us and allows the chief to allow these people to work while this process is occurring on an interim basis. But in terms of our conversations with the industry, there are some instances where they hire a seasonal worker. They may shadow, they may work for a week or two, and if it doesn't work out, they let them go. And so if they have to go through and spend the $600, which it costs to go through a full employee background, it takes up not only our time, our officers' time to do the investigations, but it also, is very costly to the business as well. So with that, we're looking for direction from the council. If you're comfortable with this direction, we'll come up with some language, and we'll bring that language back as part of the comprehensive revisions to the ordinance. But this has kind of come to light with some of the changes in some of the industries in town, and these are the conversations that have come up. And we want to do our due diligence to bring back to the council the opportunity to consider some of these changes for the industry.
Council?
Right now, we have it where local, they do theirs cheaper than.
It's just the fee is cheaper. It's still the same requirement. Yeah, and just to add one thing, that's something to consider as you guys start kind of thinking about this is, owners are required to go through full backgrounds as well. So there's some consideration where maybe we stick with at least having the owners of the company as they apply for their original permits. They're still going through that full background. But I think it's that turnover, and it's that when they're already operating, they need someone to start like tomorrow or within a week. And it's difficult to get those people started that quickly.
So I'm just curious, originally when this was put into place, what exactly were they trying to achieve? Do you know? It seems like a huge barrier for any company to have to go through something like this.
I think it was the
For
unknown
employees.
of the industry, the negative stigma of the industry at the time when Colinga originally brought forward cannabis back in 2016, we were early adopters of the codes. The state didn't even have regulations in place at the time. We had an ordinance in place before the state did. And so I think there were a lot of safeguards in place. There were lots of public opinion about cannabis in Colinga. And I think there were certain regulations not quite understanding the industry at that time. I think there were a lot of, I wouldn't call them extreme safeguards, but they're, pretty heavy safeguards that were in place at the time.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is because to me, this is very similar, I guess, to, say, a liquor store operation. And do they have any of this?
No.
Okay.
This is the only industry that requires the city to require employee permits and backgrounds.
And that was just because it was unknown?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can.
And I'll
I can give a little history because I was here unfortunately during that time. We had this entire room full, literally full, and we were trying to figure out how it was that we could take the concerns of the community on all angles and to meet those concerns with mitigating factors so that we wouldn't be in a boat where, you had people coming in saying, hey, this is just going to attract criminals to this industry. I don't personally believe that we've seen that happen, have we?
I could ask the chief. I don't know how many we've actually disqualified. I don't think there's been many employees when we have permits. Not many people are being disqualified, if any.
So, but I can tell you that it was always stated that we would try and move the regulations down as we moved forward and as the public got a little bit more comfortable and as we actually, as a city, understood what was going on and that the police were there also understanding, what is the public safety risk going to be. And so, I agree with what I think I'm hearing from you that these are major barriers. And we do not apply these to other businesses and other establishments. And, I'm willing to go as far as removing everything, but I'd be willing to, you know, whatever it is that we could agree on. I think that whatever we do, I think we should do it across the board, not just for seasonal, because I think if we were worried about the seasonal, about issues, seasonal people would be the people we'd be worried about, not just the people that are already here. Because we do employ a lot of people from Kalinga in this industry, and I think that, you know, is it still gonna be called Next Green Wave?
I don't have the new name yet. We're supposed to be actually receiving a new application here in next week or two.
So we have probably like 3 or 4 places that are empty, and then we have a couple places that are trying to get started again. And I think that some of these barriers that we could remove could help get some, because the industry's already really angry with themselves and the state. So a lot of people aren't coming anywhere. They're really not even starting up because of barriers like this. And we have a lot of places that, we have some build-outs that are completely functional, but yet there's no one there. And so, you know, removing some of these barriers could bring in business and it could equal tax revenue, but it could really just increase jobs to where people have some jobs. And, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. I think like Sean had a good point and Councilman Schindler, when this started, we were on the unknown. I think everybody was on the unknown. Now that we have some clarification and we have regulations of what's going on, we could more implement safer and workable barriers to that. So just like Councilman Schindler just expressed, we're not doing it to other businesses. So I think they should be allowed to do the process, you know, at a stable and non-worry kind of thing. I think they've been great with the city. You know, everybody's been working along with each other, and it's been working out. So I think moving forward into that would be a good idea.
Just a quick question. Are other cities doing this currently or have?
You know,
Or ever?
in conversations, I think, I put myself on mute. In conversations with some folks and talking to actually SCI, a lot of places are not as far as doing backgrounds on all employees. LiveScan, there's a lot that are doing LiveScan, but a lot of them are moving towards not requiring anything. But I think the LiveScan is probably where most agencies are right now. Depending on the geographic area of the community too, based on what level of oversight. LiveScans are pretty easy. We can be as flexible as allowing them to do a live scan in their own jurisdiction. If someone's coming from out of town, they could do they don't have to do a live scan at the PD. They can do it somewhere else too.
Well, and, you know, the companies are really the ones that are gonna get harmed by this. It's gonna be self-infliction if they hire people that, you know, steal from them or do bad things from them. So, you know, I mean, I kind of look at it like the closest that we're willing to get as a team and as a city to making this a normal business, that's where I'd like to see. But I'm totally within realm of whatever the council is okay with, we could move to.
Regardless of the business, I think regulation for the sake of regulation is not a good thing. So, I mean, if there's no purpose to it, it was just put in place as a safeguard just in case, and we haven't experienced any negative effects, there's no need for it.
Chief, did you want to provide any insight?
Well, Council, I'll just go with your direction. As you're saying about background, is it really needed? It's going to be determined up to you. Definitely the live scan, the Department of Justice, we need to get that done.
Like to keep the live scan then?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And how much does the live scan cost?
It's $57.
57, that's not that big of a cost.
So is that, you mentioned the Department of Justice, is that a state requirement?
Yes,
that
it's a
live scan?
requirement for live scans. And, but as to the background, again, when we first started, backgrounds was given. I mean, but what I'm hearing that you're thinking of maybe taking that away?
I am,
Okay.
yeah.
So maybe we could move to whatever the state minimum is.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
If we could have, you guys are obviously gonna bring this back, right?
Yeah, it would come back through the ordinance amendment. So if you're looking at state minimum, I don't know what the state minimum is.
No,
Is it live scan?
But it
Chief?
would give you guys a chance to look at it.
Yeah.
So if you guys could look at the state minimum and then bring it back to us, and then we could approve it based on that information, would you guys be okay with that?
And also, if the city attorney could look into the background to make sure that we can discontinue or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we okay with the direction on that?
Yeah, that'd be great. Just like you said, we're actually, because if we don't do this, just like you said, we're actually providing the ones on the streets that are doing it illegally more power to them. But if we do these regulations and we provide more lenient to them, where the owner could take more responsibility, I think it would be a great idea what we're doing. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to bring something back?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, chief. Appreciate that. All right, gonna move on to item number 6.3. This is the fun one. Discussion and potential action regarding considering a temporary use agreement with Sports Car Club of America, SCCA, for autocross events at the Calanga Municipal Airport and review of potential long-term site options. Future agenda item by Councilman Louder.
So I have a little bit of an update from the previous presentation. And Councilman Louder, if you'd like to, talk about your experience as well, you can do that as well. And but I just wanted to give a little update. I know that the request that came through for this item is kind of basically twofold. One, and kind of giving staff direction to try and find a short-term solution for the SCCA at the airport. And so first of all, on that, I've been talking with Mercedes, and basically it looks like, as we know, the airport was developed using FAA funding. So using FAA funding must comply with grant assurances, and that's one of our biggest things about, any kind of activity at the airport. But from a positive standpoint, there is a pathway, we feel, to work with SCCA for use of the airport for non-aeronautical type events. And so to proceed, we'll be looking at particular documentation, but we'll be basically submitting to the FAA a request to ensure that our grant assurances are met. So we'll be looking at, we'll work with the contacts at SCCA on an event description, site map, the duration. The FAA always looks for a safety plan, insurance certificates, and proof of aviation users are notified, which are all things that we feel like we can accomplish. And then another is just the justification and airport benefit. And I think that we can definitely find that as well when we start developing up that plan. And then assuming that, and ensuring that we have safety and operational safeguards on the site map. And then we'll have to look at what FAA does require is that we do charge a fair market valued fee for that type of event. So when people use the airport, it has to be a fair market fee that we charge. And then we basically also have to ensure that aviation access is preserved and access to hangars is available. And kind of based on just my conversations with Councilman Louder, based on the size of the operation, the tarmac at the airport is much larger than the space they would need, it sounds like. I know that representatives are here as well tonight. So just to add to that conversation, but we'll definitely move forward if the council wants us to proceed forward. We'll engage in those conversations as early as next week to start getting documents together so we can submit to the FAA as soon as possible and find out when the closest date is that we can host an event at the airport, assuming that the FAA agrees to that. I think that based on their model, I feel like it should fit. Long term, obviously, long term is long term, but we are definitely exploring efforts with property adjacent or near the airport, as well as looking at future opportunities on Jane and 33 as well as potential future use. But I think, as I know the council probably agrees, is getting their foot in the door per se, I think will allow us to, and then we can also talk to the FAA about multiple events at the airport longer term as well as we develop a potential future plan as well. So not only just having one here, in the next 60 to 90 days, but potentially having more beyond that at the airport until we figure a plan long term. So with that, it's kind of a summary overview, may answer your questions, but anything else, any other direction the council has, or questions you have, please
So
let me know.
I'd like to hear from Councilman Louder on his experience.
First of all, the experience was awesome. It was a great time. Went out there, took my wife. We spent probably 5 hours out there. Got to drive in all the cars, meet everybody, people that are here today. They're very excited and enthusiastic about coming to Coalinga. They're confident that they can pull their base. They're looking for a home, and I want to see how fast we can get them in during their presentation. I mean, they are ready to go the next weekend. Of course, we have things we have to get, but I want to see what kind of direction we need to fast track this, get it approved for their events up until July. They take July or August off possibly because of the heat, but they probably would have an event sometime in there, but they would work with that. But after June, they are open as far as their schedule. So I want to have them temporary pull their base up until June. And we'll be able to speak with them and their representatives of how many events we can have until that point. That way they can get a feel for some of their South groups, some of the Bay Area groups, and some of the Central groups, and see, my vision is to make it the hub. Let's make it the California hub. Let's pull everybody here. Let's do a long-term thing and get shift sector back, and cars, airport, wings, wheels, all that stuff. I think it'd be a good mix. So, their next race is March 21st. I encourage everybody in the council to get out there, go experience them again. Again, just want to get something down and move forward with a ratification plan so we can have something permanent for them.
And I do see their membership is here today. I'd like to invite anyone who would like to speak to come up to the, and you don't have to, but if someone would like to come up and speak at the lectern, I think, most of us are really excited for the opportunity that exists. And I know that Councilman Louder has really been on this one. And unfortunately, I didn't get to make it to your event. We had our chamber event the same day. But I absolutely will make it out to one of your events, and I'm sure the rest of us will as well. But if any of you would like to come up and kind of just, say hi or share maybe what you're thinking.
I volunteer Audrey to come up.
And you can use the microphone there, or you can come to the podium, either one. Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi. I'm Audrey Tan. Jeremy came out with Angelica to our last event, and we had a ball. We threw them into as many cars as possible. Every kind of car there was, we put them in. I think they had a good time. I think we all had a good time. We've brought over 10 people today to make the drive down to Coalinga to make sure that you knew that we are serious. We're excited to be here. We've got more people that I think are on the live feed too, on the YouTube. People who couldn't make it down before 6 p.m. are on the live feed as well. So I just want you guys to know how excited we are as a club to come and visit Coalinga. We're planning on going to Fat Albert's and having pizza afterwards, so we already want to invest some money into the community and just show you that we're serious. But of course, you have a Mustang. You need to come drive with us. Does he not need to? Yeah, you need to come drive with us. All of you are invited anytime. Next event again on March 21st. We'd love to have all of you come out, and we'll throw you in cars and have a good time. So thank you for considering us.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thank you all for making the drive here to Coalinga. I don't know how far each one of you drove, but we very much appreciate it. And seeing the support from your club absolutely is invigorating to us to understand that you're interested in partnering with us as much as we're interested in partnering with you.
I was very, very impressed. Their safety protocols, their walkthroughs, the way their members worked with each other, worked on their cars, got everything lined up. It was flawless. And I saw the holes that were missing. They had no food and drink out there. The ground they were driving on, it's just everything I think we can capitalize here, and I want to move forward as fast as possible.
I think it's a good idea, especially the way our little town is growing. I think you guys getting involved, choosing us, and thank you. You guys would love that how our community is very supportive. That's one thing, and as we've been working with the FFA, even going to Washington DC to get our airport going, as Mr. Louder just said, for wings, cars. I mean, we can even do motorcycles. I've seen some of your guys' YouTube stuff, and it's great with the BMWs, Porsches, and everything. They look great. Can't wait to get one of those. Thank you for coming.
And I want to let the public know also that we've been provided lots of videos, GoPro footage, pictures. So I'm going to be handing stuff over. Just saying, it's pretty awesome of getting stuff out pretty quick. So I'm excited to see if she can put something together and let the public know, get everybody excited, and kind of draw some attention.
I'm 100% on board and excited. And thank you for the opportunity. And so we're going to start on this tomorrow?
How do we need any kind of direction or anything moving forward to fast track this? So we'll have it on for next meeting and we'll approve it?
Well, I always work in fast track, so that's a given.
You're buying a Miata, right?
So Mercedes and I will reach out to Audrey and email her what we need from them, at least for an upcoming event, and then we'll see how quickly we'll push the FAA to get back to us as soon as possible for approval for that site. So a site layout and some of the other documents that I kind of mentioned in the report. And then we can get that submitted as soon as we get those documents back from them. So we'll work on getting that together and get that over to her on Monday, so we can get that going, and we'll push the FAA because once we get approval from the FAA, they can get something scheduled.
So is your direction to have the city work? Is your direction to have the city work as quickly as possible with the SCCA and the FAA in order to get the temporary events started quickly and also explore the long-term events?
I would like to give direction to fast track the event, clear everything with the FFA, the SCCA, get everything moved forward for the future, start as soon as possible.
Okay, and we'll probably get our consultants on board when it comes to the long-term solution, and so we may come back to you just with some costs associated with that, so you're aware of the additional work that staff's doing. But we will definitely start working on the temporary or the incoming events at the airport specifically as soon as possible.
And you have their contact info?
Yep, I've got Audrey's email right here.
Perfect.
Yeah, and maybe we have the president of Chamber. We have a great parade that we have for Memorial Weekend. It's called the Horn Tour Derby. There's a lot of people that get involved with their cars. I think you guys would be a perfect, display. So, I mean, you guys are more welcome. I mean, Mr. Nerton is right here, so he could get his information. So.
Well, if he's gonna have 300 cars in her, so
All right, so you have direction?
I got it.
Any other questions from council on this?
No, I just want to say thank you for them to come out. It was very, very cool to show their excitement, show up, move forward, get everybody on board. It's really appreciated. Thank you, guys.
I'll echo that as well, and if you could continue to send us invites to your events, that way that we can make sure that we can attend. Very excited to see you guys here and very excited to work with you in the future. And with that, we'll move to the next item, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Moving to item number 4, initial discussion and direction regarding potential placement of a Measure J sales tax extension on the November 2026 general election ballot.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So tonight's staff's recommending that the council kind of receive some background information regarding Measure J, including prior council actions. Provide direction on whether to proceed with preparation of a proposed ordinance and ballot language to place Measure J renewal extension on the November 26th general election ballot. And if so, staff will return with proposed ballot language, a draft ordinance required resolutions for ballot placement, and a proposed timeline for council consideration and adoption. Just a little background, in November of 2018, voters approved a 1% transaction and use sales tax Measure J, to fund police, fire, and general municipal services. That tax became effective April 1st, 2019, and is scheduled to sunset on April 1st, 2029. At adoption, council approved a declaration of intent outlining priorities, including public safety staffing, emergency preparedness, recruitment and retention, and establishing financial reserves. Measure J revenues currently represent a significant portion of the general fund and support core municipal operations. Between 22 and 24, council discussed options including extending the tax with a new sunset, or removing the sunset entirely. A community survey indicated strong support for an extension with a defined sunset. Measure was placed on the November 2024 ballot, but did not receive the sufficient voter approval. So this item is just intended to determine whether the council wishes to revisit the placement of the Measure J extension on the November 26th ballot, allowing adequate time for analysis, community engagement, and fiscal planning. There's no really structural recommendation at this time related to Measure J. It's just really a matter of, does the council want to proceed forward with this extension? And so staff and working with the city attorney can start proceeding forward and get ahead of all of the ballot language and start those discussions now. So with that, I will allow you guys to provide some direction.
So I think I would suggest that we provide the direction for the for the placement of the Measure J sales tax extension on the November 2026 ballot.
Okay.
Do you just need direction, or is
That's
this a
it.
vote?
Do you need a vote?
I guess we just need direction, so you don't need
Yep.
to vote if you don't.
You okay with that? Okay, and you'll bring it back?
Yep, we'll start working on it.
Okay. We moved 6.5 to the consent calendar, so we're gonna work on is it 6.5, let's see.
We're on the special meeting items.
Okay,
No, you got 6-6.
do we have 6.6?
Oh, 6.6, yeah.
Move that.
Nope, 6.6 should still be on there. Or was there, those are the ones from the
Oh,
special
yes.
meeting.
So we're gonna move to 6.6, which is discussion, direction, and potential action regarding appointment to the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District Committee.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item was put on the agenda because we received an email from the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District confirming who the members are for their city committee. I'd like to apologize. The information that's in the staff report is more general to the governing board of the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District. So I provided a memo on the dais that basically explains what the role of the actual city committee is, and really, on a nutshell, it's the cities are the voting body to vote in the governing body. So it's a lot less in depth as it was shown in the staff report. So we wanted to clarify that, but they still need folks to be on the committee, and we need to identify who those committee members are. Historically, it's been the mayor, and then the mayor pro tem has been a backup on that. But I wanted to bring it to you because it's been, I think, since 2019 since we brought this before the council to confirm those appointments. So I want to give the council an opportunity to have that discussion because I know the council's been kind of wanting to spread the love in terms of what committees and what people are involved in, what members are involved in what committee. So, Mayor, I'll leave it up to you to kind of continue that conversation.
Yeah, so years ago, I was excited to sit on this, only to realize that it was an appointing committee. You're just appointing the people who actually make decisions. So it's not a bunch of time. They do, when they have when they have a vacancy, they will ask that the group get together and meet in order to reappoint, and amazingly enough, that does happen. And so, I would like to have more of our members involved in these type of policy commit, I mean, inside, even if it's not a direct policy committee, I would like to see, to ask if there was anybody that'd be willing to do this. You did do it before, okay. It's really not a bunch of work, but it is a commitment, and they do expect you to show up, because the vote does happen, and so, you would? Yeah? I will ask, if anybody is interested in doing it. If anybody's interested in doing it. Okay. So, I think, Councilman Ramirez has done it before. Are you willing to do it again? Is everyone okay with that? Yeah? Do we just need direction?
Who's back up?
Of course, Abel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so we're gonna do Ramirez with Abel being the backup. With Councilman Arroyo. He's not here. This is what we do when you don't show up. Is everyone okay with that?
I'm good.
Got direction? And I will say that he would be here, but he is not feeling well. In fact, he is not feeling well at all. So it's actually better he's not here, because, you know, he doesn't want to get anybody else sick, so. Do you need a vote or just general direction?
I think,
We do need a vote.
Okay.
the boss says the vote.
Do we have a motion?
I'll motion to nominate Mr. Councilman Ramirez as the air pollution representative
And then the backup?
with the backup of Councilman Arroyo.
Okay.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none. Welcome Ramirez and Arroyo to that, I don't even know what to call it. It is a committee. Okay, so we're gonna move to item number 6.7, which is from the concurrent special meeting. And it's discussion, potential action regarding one expiring term on the planning commission.
Thank you. So staff's just seeking direction from the council whether to reappoint Commissioner Stoppenbrink to another 4-year term or advertise for the position of planning commissioner. Commissioner Stoppenbrink's term is set to end on March 17th, 2026. Commissioner Stoppenbrink has served on the planning commission since 2022, and his term is set to end on March 17th. He has advised staff that he would like to seek reappointment to the commission by the council for another term. And so, in accordance with section 2-3-102 of the municipal code, members of the planning commission shall be appointed by the council. So there's two options. One would be to reappoint Commissioner Stoppenbrink to an additional 4-year term, or you can go, or the council can direct staff to advertise for a planning commissioner seat. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to the council for discussion, and then we'll just be looking for direction whether you'd like to reappoint or to advertise.
So my personal preference is always to advertise, but in this specific scenario, Mr. Stoppenbrink is amazing at this position, and he's been doing it a long time. And I personally believe we'd end up with him anyways, because he has a lot of knowledge on the planning commission, and he's a great chairperson for the planning commission as well. Obviously, this will be a discussion with us, but my idea would be that we reappoint Mr. Stoppenbrink.
I usually like to put this out to see who has interest. I don't personally know him, so I can't speak to him, but I will go with what you suggest.
Council?
With that, if you have somebody that's good at their job, I feel they should stay.
Okay, so I guess I'll make the motion that we reappoint Planning Commissioner Stoppenbrink for another term. Have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we need a roll call vote on this?
As long as you can tell if there's somebody opposing, so if it's unanimous, no.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, Planning Commissioner Stoppenbrink will be reappointed, and will he need to come in to be formally reappointed?
Nope, I don't think so, right?
No. If he needs to be sworn in, Shannon can do that, someone that doesn't need to be at a council meeting.
Okay. All right. Going to move on to item number 6.8, which was also from the special meeting, and that is going to be discussion, direction, and potential action regarding the proposed 4th of July event and fireworks display, and further authorize the city manager to execute a contract for fireworks display.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I wanted to bring this item back because I know time is of the essence in terms of making at least a kind of a decision on what the city will do related to the fireworks display for the 4th of July from the previous meeting. Staff did meet with the Chamber and the Parks District earlier this week to discuss the possible 4th of July event. The Chamber and Parks District were open to supporting an event for the 4th as an alternative. The challenge that we've had is that staff has done a significant amount of calling and researching on trying to find a fireworks vendor for the 4th of July, and unfortunately nobody is available. We've reached out to close to 15 different locations within the state, northern, southern California, as well as out of state, with no one being available for a fireworks display on the 4th of July. And so in terms of looking at that, there were some discussions about and talking to, and Scott is here and he's prepared to speak a little bit on some of the conversations we've had, is that they were open to doing some type of event on the 4th. Just unfortunately, we won't have any fireworks. So it might be a combination of an event on the 4th, but we look at an alternate date for the fireworks. Because we do have penciled in, and the purpose of the formal recommendation on the agenda item is to allow myself the flexibility to execute a contract with a fireworks vendor, because we do have something penciled in for our typical week before, if that's so what the council would like to do in terms of fireworks for the week before, and then maybe some kind of alternative on the 4th of July to celebrate the 250 anniversary. So I kind of want to open that up to the council. Any suggestions in terms of what kind of ideas you guys may have, but at least wanted to provide you some information from what we've gathered in the last couple weeks related to the request from you guys. And then if there's anything else I'm missing, Scott, you can always add it.
Council?
Any feedback on like drone show and stuff like that?
There are a couple companies that have identified that they are available for drone shows on the 4th of July. We did do some research on the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District grant. That grant program is closed for the year. They only have about $250,000 annually available. And that's over all the counties within the Air Pollution Control District, which is, that's basically from like almost Sacramento area down to Bakersfield. And so all those counties within, and I think in Fresno County, each grant is about $46,000. And so with it being closed, there's no additional opportunities. The drone costs are quite significant compared to the cost for fireworks. The two that we have, that Jasenia's talked to, range from $60,000 to $78,000. And that's for, they have a price per drone, which is a $300 price, $300 per drone, $200 minimum. And then there's, I think one offered 100 drones for $40,000 or 200 drones for $78,000. They're about 8 to 10, well, one's about 8 to 12 minute show. The other one was 10 to 13 minutes on a drone show. And then there's Sky Dreams was, I apologize, $40,000 for 200 drones of 12 to 14 minutes.
And you said Yesenia did some research on this. Would you like to come up and speak, if you wouldn't mind? We'd love to hear you.
And although numbers are not my strong suit, I do really well with them. So let's talk numbers if you like. What was your question? Sorry.
So, I was just wanting to get an overall summary and maybe an idea of, since you've been researching this, what you think.
Definitely. So immediately when I started to reach out about fireworks, the immediate answer was no. Right away, it was, you should have started booking last year. And even 6 months ahead to them was not early enough, especially for the 250th. They said that immediately after last year's summer, they were automatically booking for next year. So after about 2 to 3 months after the July season, they were already starting to be booked up for 4th of July. They did offer me some alternatives. So the weekend before, significantly cheaper and still an option. However, the drones, they advertise them as being environmentally friendly. They also advertise them as being different, a different display. You can display different images, custom images as well. One of those that they offered was, for some drones, was a 3 launching point. So they would have to charge for 45 minutes in between those increments. The first increment, they offered a display of our sponsors. So the drones would go up, display a message, show their logos, their signs, their names. I even asked if there's limitations to those. So if we could only have 5 sponsors up, he said no, we could do 30, 40, 50. It just depends on the drone time, so how much time in between they had. Then they can do the main show and then a finale at the end. So there was variety within those drones. They were environmentally friendly, and they also advertised them as alternatives to maybe people with disabilities or even the animals that are nearby our environment. So they said that they're a lot less noisy than the fireworks are. So a population that stood out to them were children with autism. They don't get afraid of the noise, they aren't overstimulated, and they are also able to participate. Another one was the fumes that came up after fireworks, right? The impact that it has on our environment. So they did advertise those drones. It is a little bit difficult. I did advertise for the weather, right? I was worried that if we booked a droid or drones and then it's super windy that day, if we're not gonna have a drone show. They assured me that they can withstand winds anywhere between 25 to 30 miles and light rain. So these are heavy duty drones, they're not light, so even on a windy day, they'd be fine. They let me know that they had a very successful rate, that they, throughout their years of putting on shows, they've only had to cancel 2 or 3 of them. So really, unless it's pouring rain out or extremely windy are the only cases that they'll cancel. It's really good for low vision as well, so we don't have to shoot all the way high in the sky. It's pretty close by to our observers as well. And they focus it based on the way we want the show. A lot of those drones also included other multimedias. So music, DJs, lights, LED wristbands that could be connected to the drone. So as the lights are going on, people can match the bracelets to them as well. But those are significantly higher pricing for them. It is fun, it's different, and it's new if we were looking for that option. They offered dates because even for the drones themselves, they were also running out of inventory. So they did let me know if we even wanted to decide with them, we would have to decide within the next few weeks. Otherwise, they cannot guarantee us a spot.
So as far as sponsors, and maybe this is a question for Mario as well, can some of the sponsors that we might get, could they offset the cost? Are we allowed to charge sponsors as a city?
Not necessarily. Excuse me. I mean, you're not really charging them. They're volunteering and paying for it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like if, let's say it's, you're looking at 60 to 70,000 for the drone show. Let's say we got like 5 or 6 sponsors or even more who'd be willing to pay a couple grand each to be able to put their name up there, maybe their phone number up there. That would offset the cost of what we're looking at. Is that allowed?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the other question I have is, so you said, 60 to 70K was on the drone side, and then we lost the window for the Valley Air grant, so we can't get that. Mm-hmm. So then you also looked at the week before. How much did you find out for the week before for fireworks?
So the fireworks kind of ranged, yeah.
Yeah, and we're penciled in. We're about, I think for the same show we had last year, we're about $23,000. Is that right, Shannon?
I think it's 23 to 24.
Yeah, and then if we want to go with a little bit bigger show, that we're upwards of about 30 to 35,000 and that's with the same company that we did last year. So we're already penciled in case there's anything, so we can at least have that.
So if we wanted to do both, we're looking at what, like 100K to do both? It's a 250th. I mean, it's a 250th. I mean, I personally, I come from the Midwest where we still blow things up, and we like it. And it's a total different environment, and I don't understand. I mean, I get it, like, but you know, the animals here that are scared, the animals over there are out there with everybody, and the people. It's not the same environment, so I get it. We have a different culture here, but I do believe a lot of people here still want to blow things up, and our residents would love to be involved in this if we could somehow allow them to do it, but fire chief says we can't, so we did. I think a couple of us did ask about that, because we have some pretty talented folks out there that are putting it out there. But we went to League of Cities and we looked at some of the drone shows that they had, and you know, just, I mean, I think it probably did, if we would have signed up way in advance, it may have been cheaper, but I'm guessing it came up because of all the stuff. But, and you're looking at 8 to 12 minutes, or 12 to 14 minutes, probably max on this, right? And that
Yes.
doesn't include the sponsors.
They would have to rest. So the one specifically that offered the multiple launches is going to be Skyworks, and that'll be the 60,000. That does not include their lodging, which they did let me know would be a separate cost. It's up to us where we lodge them, so ultimately the price is in our hands of where we lodge them.
I mean, just myself personally, I'd love to see us do both.
I would too.
I first of all, respect for Councilman Schindler bringing this up. 250 is important, and sounds like we're getting a drone.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your.
Sounds like we're getting a
your-
drone show for his event. I think it's important to move forward with the drone show for his event. If we can do both, I think we have Let Freedom Ring happening. When is that supposed to happen? The week before? So if we can do both and give them fireworks, I think that would be another good thing to emphasize on that weekend.
I mean, I just think it could be basically a 2-week party. How it looks like for the 250th, we get the chamber involved. We could get the, you know, I've been talking to Scott a little bit. I know he has some input on this as well. And the Park and Rec did say that they would be involved if we did do the regular fireworks the week before. Is that correct?
Well, I think that they would most likely do the Let Freedom Ring event
Yeah.
on that weekend before.
Right.
And then Scott and I can work on, I know Scott's been open to doing something. We can figure out something that leads up to a drone show on the 4th, if that's something that the council would like to do. We don't necessarily have to do it at that location. There might be other options, other locations. We want to make sure it's dark too in those areas.
Because, I mean, I would like to, you know, I'd like to see all three of them have almost the equal amount of participation, you know, and funding. I mean, it is a lot of funding, but it is our 250.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we need to go out with the
I
bang.
don't know, I mean, when Scott and I were talking for the 4th, is whether or not it would be, how late that event would go. Because that would require an event to go all the way into night if unless we're gonna advertise a drone show that people will be able to see from, you know, anywhere in town. Or it's tied to an event.
So, can I have Scott come up and kind of give us some as well? Don't walk too far. We might need you. There's a press sheet right there. It's a press seat, and you are our press. So we're gonna get you a spot up here somewhere.
Barry, so when we'd met, we've talked several times about it. Ideally, when I was first approached about it, it was about bringing as many of the community partners involved in it as possible, you know, like Park and Rec, Chamber, City, schools, what have you. I mean, I love the idea of doing the fireworks the week before at the Let Freedom Ring. If we are able to do something on the 4th of July, what I, you know, discussed with them was possibly doing the parade in the morning, 10 a.m., open up the plaza, have a downtown event till, say, 4 p.m., let the kids use the splash pad, hopefully it's up and running, and then include the school district if we can. Hopefully the pool's open, have everybody move down to the grass, the practice field, free swim day at the pool, let them launch the drones if we can get them, maybe at the stadium, so when they come up out of the top of the stadium, everybody's already sitting there in their lawn chairs, ready for the show. But that includes, that way it gets the school involved, chamber, park and rec, city, everybody, our major business partners here in town.
So get on it. That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean that way it would be an all-day thing. You could take them from one event down the plaza with the splash pad, to the school with the pool, to the drone, make an all-day thing that way.
And if we go small on the fireworks on Let Freedom Ring, like the 20,000 package she had, and then 60 on the drone, if that fits.
So
It's 250. We got 250?
So do we want to give them a total amount to spend, up to like maybe 125? Or on this event? Would that seem to you guys like you guys could fit that for that?
It's in a safe, because, you know.
Is that safe or? Yeah? Sean?
I really don't know. I think if you guys are looking at doing both, I mean.
We want to do both, Sean.
Okay.
Both. I vote both.
Okay. So how about we just give staff direction to make it happen then?
Make it happen, get her down.
Are we okay with
What,
that?
what do I need? Do I need anything specific?
I mean, everything else will come back. Once we have contracts.
That's true. The contracts will have to come back, so we'll bring the
College
contract.
too, the college is right there, we're gonna do something by the pool, the college, you know.
And we can try to we can try to work on some sponsorships too. I think to try to keep those costs down. Sure. But we can look and see that for the advertisements.
Well, I just
But we
want
can
to.
do that and bring it back.
I just want to recognize that I know that Scott and Councilman Schindler and Jasenia and Sean and Fire Chief and the school and everyone that's involved, Park and Rec, that's involved in this have already started like pre-conversations, probably Jesse as well. Police Chief, all of our people, heck, Mai's probably even been involved, so. You know, yeah, I mean, we have so many people involved in this, and so this is an important deal for us. Obviously, you know, Councilman Schindler really wanted to have an impact for the 250. And so just want to say I appreciate everyone that's involved in this, and I know that the vision that Councilman Schindler has echoed to all of you guys. And, you know, I'd also like to say that if we want to allow Councilman Schindler to work closely with them, as a council, we can give that direction so that he can make sure that his vision is.
That's my man right there.
Okay. So are we okay with that? We'll give direction to make it happen, and then also Councilman Schindler can work with them?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. Do you have direction?
I have direction.
All right. I know Sean's looking at this like,
It's gonna be a long week, Chief,
it's gonna be
sorry.
a lot of work.
It's gonna be a long week.
It is. Yep. All right. So that being said, I think we're on to announcements. Is that correct? Well, I don't want to miss
Yes.
anything.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. City manager's announcements?
I've got a few, Mayor. I received an email from the San Francisco SPCA today, just to remind everybody that they have the Animal Balance MASH Clinic, the spay and neuter event, this Friday through Sunday at the Grange. I think the Gimme Love's been pushing some stuff on social media, encouraging people to sign up. I think they've actually had some pretty good response already. So I just wanted to plug that, so make sure people don't forget. This is, I think, one of multiples they're going to have this spring. We got confirmation actually today. I got an email from the EPA that confirmed funding of the 1.092 million for the sodium hydroxide facility. So it's officially with the EPA, which is where the funding was derived from. So we should start seeing agreements, and we'll hopefully see that moving forward relatively soon now. We met with the architect, Jesse and I and some staff met with the architect for the outdoor food court, and super excited. We had a rough draft that was completed. We provided the architect some feedback, and then I'll be reaching out to you guys individually to kind of go over that, just to kind of make sure that it kind of looks and feels what you guys are looking for. And then we'll finalize a 3D rendering to bring back for kind of council approval, so we can move forward with full design, which will include some cost estimates, and see where we're going to land with the budget for next year in terms of funding the project. But super excited based on what we saw. We're starting to see it on paper. We can visualize it a little bit more now. So I think as we get it further along, it's going to get more exciting. So we're happy to see that moving along. March 3rd meeting, myself, the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Schindler, and Councilman Ramirez are all going to be in DC during the March 3rd meeting. So I'm recommending that we just cancel that meeting. I don't think we have anything pressing that we have to get on that meeting. So the next meeting would be on March 19th. With that, March 5th. Oh, March 5th. So we're canceling March 5th. Yeah, we're not here March 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
Council members, announcements and reports?
One for our community. As you guys seen that Caltrans is putting their notice for the project. That's gonna start March 5th, it says posted.
Yes, so first week of March, yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys could start planning your detours, your new routes, it's gonna get pretty hectic, so.
You know what, I'm glad you brought that up. Let me give a little update on that. So we've been meeting with Caltrans. We actually had a meeting with the district director yesterday and the chief of maintenance and just asked a bunch of questions. But it sounds like they're going to start with curb ramps. So there's going to be a lot of pedestrian access, not interruptions, but detours. But they're going to be starting with a lot of the curb ramps. So you won't see a lot of roadway issues until they start actually doing the grinding. They are taking all the pavement down to what we call native soil. So they're fully reconstructing the highway. And so it's about a 10-month project. And so, but moving forward, we're going to continue to push out information. We're in constant communication with their PIO at Caltrans, and we've stressed making sure that information gets put out to the public. So we're going to be meeting, I think, bi-weekly to start until the project moves along. And so if there's any concerns, anything, we can definitely convey that message. But again, this is a Caltrans project. It's not a city project. However, we can definitely convey any messaging, but it's going to be, the project will have some interruptions. It's construction. It's going to be inconvenient, but we're going to have a brand new highway through the entire city come this winter.
That's where I was going next, was completion date.
It's 10 months. So usually we go in construction days. I don't even know how many, that's like 300 construction, like 200 and something construction days. So
What's the anticipation for Derby?
so Scott and I have talked, and we've talked about alternatives for the parade. So we'll be working through those and kind of figuring out an alternative and make it as convenient as possible for them to find a location. But we have alternative
Too many
routes that
bumps.
we've used. We had a COVID route years ago, and so but we've talked, so we'll work through that, and we'll make sure everyone's aware once those changes are made.
Is there anything on the stops at Forest and Fifth?
So we had a meeting.
It's gonna be crazy, I'm telling you guys.
So we had a meeting with Caltrans, and we are working on the potential of a pilot project there. It does not meet the warrants for a stop sign. However, they do have pilots for many roundabouts. So
Now we're gonna teach people how to do a
You-
roundabout at the same time.
you asked the question, but at least we're still working through solutions there. When we had our conversation yesterday, we told them that it is a hot spot. They look at accident data, and the criteria and how they make those determinations, and it is. But when you look at the criteria and how they analyze four-way stops and how they analyze traffic calming measures, it doesn't quite meet the minimum criteria. So as impactful it is, and I express that to them in a local community, small community, when you see accidents very often at certain intersections, a lot of times when Caltrans needs to earmark funding for particular projects, which they're open to helping us, in order for headquarters to be able to fund these types of projects, they have to meet that criteria. So, but we do have some something else in the works that we're working on. And so we'll continue to update you as we get some more information.
Nothing.
I think after the road diet, it'll have met the criteria, because that traffic is gonna be heavy on Forest. It's just going to. So we'll get it then, after.
So I'll add in on this. I talked to Caltrans at the last COG meeting as well, and I expressed concerns of, we're gonna put a bike lane coming over the bridge on the 33 going from Merced to Thompson. We already have accidents happening right exactly there. People are not slowing down. And so they gave me the same advice that we could do talk about a roundabout, but they're really expensive. And so I think he was trying to deter the conversation, but they are listening, because he was paying attention to that. So they are getting the message. And you know, any messages that we have, we can give to Sean.
And these pilots are more cost effective than their traditional $2 million roundabouts. So these are, I think he said, as low as 300,000 to $1 million, but they're all surface mounted. So they're not like permanent. So they're like the surface mounted that they can do for these.
So like the speed hump
Almost like
program.
the speed humps, yeah. But
The
round.
ones that we thought would come out of the ground that don't? Right, okay, all right. Any other council members' announcements and reports? No? Okay, so, city treasurer's announcements.
None this evening.
Okay. So mayor's announcements, we're going to be going to DC. We're gonna be talking with some of our electeds up there, probably senators in Congress, try and get some more money in. My guess is we'll probably meet with Gray, Congressman Gray again.
Yes, we will have an appointment with Congressman Gray, and
Okay.
then with staffs of our senators, the staff members of our senators.
And this specific one will be a little bit more efficient for us, because the COG is really focused on like all the different cities and going as one voice. And this, we will get a lot more interaction quicker, and we'll have their undivided attention just for Kalinga. And so we're hoping to bring back some more money, some more grants, put some things on the map that they would think about. Also, I was contacted by Congressman Gray, and he does want to set up a time to where the current Congress person who will be likely taking over our district, that he could do kind of a meet and greet and introduce some of our council members. Maybe I'll even ask if he can bring them here for a town hall. And then we're gonna do ICSC, right? And that's our retail conference, where we go out and we speak with potential retailers. Which staff are we gonna have with us?
Myself and Jasenia will be attending with us.
Perfect. I'm really excited to have Jasenia with us. I think this is gonna be a great opportunity for her and for us as well. And are we going to have a booth?
Yeah, we annually we've been sharing a booth with Kerman.
Okay.
So we'll have a booth with Kerman again this year.
Perfect. And it's a really good opportunity for us to go out and, one, we get to talk to some of the engineers that are there. We get to talk to developers. We also, I don't know if anyone remembers, but years ago when the first idea of Ross was coming, that happened at that event. You know, Marissa was able to meet someone from that event, and they hit it off, and that's what spawned that initial thing. So really cool things can happen out of these events. And so I just want to make sure everyone knows that you know, we're doing that in hopes for bringing more business back, more retail back, create those networking conversations. And I think that's all I have. Move on to future agenda items. Anyone? No? All right, I have a couple. We now have two competing measures for the continued version. Well, it'd actually be a new sales tax for the old Measure C. So the group that worked with COG was Transportation for All, and I believe they have a new agency that's going to run the exact same thing that COG pushed. And so I want them, they asked for my endorsement on their measure, and I told them that I would be seeking them to come to council and give a full presentation. That way that I wasn't sidestepping council and giving an endorsement on this, because I wanted them to come and talk to all of us and talk to our public. So if we could set up a time with them, I'm hoping the second week of March, or the second meeting in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also the county, there's a group of developers with the county, and I believe they also are running a measure, a competing measure as well. And so I would also like to give them the ample opportunity to come. And if you guys, I can reach out to the TFA, but if you could reach out to the county and get them to see where they're at and see if they might be able to send a representative out as well. And if they could come on the same day, that'd be awesome. But if not, as soon as possible, that way we could get an endorsement behind whichever measure, because I know that both agencies are gonna be working quickly to get this on the ballot. And the more endorsements they have, the better off that people will be willing to sign, since they are gonna be all signature based. And then I think, and this is so unfortunate, I don't even wanna say this, but we need to contact the CHP for enforcement on the 33 coming into town. That was the recommendation of Caltrans. I've been asking them for a stop sign. I've been telling them about the amount of accidents. They seem to think it's a lack of enforcement. I know that our guys are gonna be getting some radar soon. But if we could work with CHP and inviting them out to try and do some enforcement. And the reason I say unfortunately is because a lot of us travel that road, and I know no one wants to get caught up, but the entire reasoning for this road diet and everything that's happening is because we do have traffic problems. We do have accidents, and Caltrans recognizes that and wants to make sure. And I did express to them that I am thinking it's gonna cause, they may fix issues in one place, but may create issues in others. And so they're aware, and they also did tell me that if things are not working out, that they don't come back and look at updates, but if we send them information, that they can make changes after the fact, unfortunately. But we're gonna give them a chance, and we really don't have a choice. So
We can't lower the speed limit. We would have nothing to lower down the speed limit from right there from the start of Industrial Park and connect it to the bridge.
Yeah, so when Jesse and I met with the director, we talked about multiple issues. One was the Forest and Fifth. We also talked about Jane Avenue and the concerns of the council. And so we're actually looking, and Jesse, you can give a little update if you want, but we're looking at some type of speed radar coming into town to help with that. And then it also included us talking to CHP as also our local officers to start looking at enforcement on 33 as well.
So I'm not sure if the council's familiar with Highway 41 as it enters Morro Bay, but a similar issue where you have a highway coming into a residential area or adjacent to a residential area, and they have a radar feedback. So the speed limit will be I'm sorry, I'm a little allergic. There'll be a radar giving the speed of the vehicle entering town, and if it exceeds the speed limit, it'll flash blue or yellow lights at you, and it gets your attention. So, and I think that would be something we talked with Caltrans. That they would be amenable to that. It's a very simple permit, and we were hoping to move forward with that.
Yeah, so we're getting quotes right now on that, and then we'll bring it back to the council based on the cost. And then Caltrans is also working on additional signage along that stretch to try and put in additional signage out there beyond what they currently have out there. So they were definitely open to different suggestions out there.
Well, and I think that's a great suggestion myself, because people that do have radar, it's gonna set the radar off. It is going to let them know, hey. And then like they have one in Huron, and I think it's effective. When I come into Huron, first thing I see is my speed and the flashing light, and it lets me know, hey, you may be going too fast, slow down. And so, at minimum, I like this idea. I think it's, yeah, it is something, and I appreciate that. And maybe if this is effective, maybe we could employ it in other places in town where we do have people going using thoroughfares. And I'm pretty sure that when we get the the radar up and running with the police, that'll have a positive and negative effect. It'll have a positive effect in traffic calming and have a negative effect in people being unhappy that they're getting tickets for going too fast. I mean, that is gonna be the goal, right? Yeah? Okay. Yep, well, it is what I mean, we have an issue with people going too fast, so. All right, any other future agenda items from anyone? No? All right, let's see, we have a couple closed session items that we didn't tackle so far. Looks like we have,
We're just doing one, this one, we don't, yeah, we're just doing number 3.
we're just doing number 3? We don't have to do number 1?
Do we have any update on that?
Okay, so we're not gonna, 9.1 is going to be removed, and we're going to do 9.3, which is real property negotiations. Do we expect to report anything out?
We do not.
We do not. All right. I appreciate everyone for coming. Thanks for giving us your time. Thanks for being involved in the process. And reach out if you have questions or concerns. Thank you so much.